Imagine a world where your food never spoils, where everything you preserve lasts for months, even years, without a refrigerator in sight. It sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it? But what if I told you this isn't some magical, futuristic technology? It's an ancient technique, one that's been perfected over generations, and is still used today by the Amish to preserve their food. No fancy machines, no preservatives, just a time-tested, natural method that's both effective and easy. This is the Amish water bath canning method, and it could completely change the way you store your food. For centuries, this simple yet powerful technique has allowed people to store food for long periods without refrigeration. But how does it work? It's quite simple. You immerse jars of food in boiling water, creating a vacuum seal that locks in freshness and prevents bacteria, yeasts, and molds from ruining your food. What makes this method revolutionary is how affordable and accessible it is. Unlike modern preservation methods that require specialized equipment or preservatives, water bath canning is something you can do with just a few basic tools. All you need is a boiling pot of water, some jars, and your food of choice. By heating the food to kill off any microorganisms and sealing it up tight, you can keep food fresh for months or even years. Imagine not worrying about leftovers going bad or food spoiling on a long road trip. This method makes it possible. Now, you might be wondering, why should I trust this age-old method? Well, it's because it's been around for a very long time. Water bath canning dates back to the early 19th century when a French chef named Nicolas Appert revolutionized food preservation by developing the first canning technique. His invention changed the way people thought about storing food. Instead of relying on refrigeration or salt, Appert found a way to preserve food without it going bad, and the technique spread around the world. Over time, the Amish community, known for their deep-rooted traditions and self-sufficiency, adopted this method and perfected it, ensuring that their food could last even longer and stay fresh without modern conveniences. The process itself is surprisingly simple. First, you'll need to sterilize your jars and lids to prevent contamination. Then, you fill your jars with food, anything from fruits and tomatoes to pickles or even jams, leaving a little space at the top. Once the jars are packed, you secure the lids and place them in a pot of boiling water. The water must be at a rolling boil, and the jars need to stay in the water for a specific amount of time, depending on the type of food. The heat kills off any harmful bacteria, and as the jars cool, a vacuum seal forms, locking in freshness and ensuring no bacteria can get in. When you remove the jars from the water, you'll hear a satisfying pop as the lid seals tightly, keeping your food fresh for months to come. But don't just take my word for it. This is an art that's been passed down through generations, and it's still as relevant today as it was centuries ago. The Amish understand that food preservation is about more than just saving food. It's about maintaining the quality, flavor, and health of the food you eat. This method offers a natural, cost-effective solution to storing your food safely for longer periods, without the need for artificial preservatives or modern equipment. Stick around as we explore the fascinating world of food preservation and show you how to master the Amish water bath canning method yourself. It might be simple, but it's incredibly effective, and with a little practice, you'll never have to worry about your food going bad again. Plus, we've got some expert tips that'll make your canning experience smoother than ever before. Ready to change the way you think about food storage? Let's get started. The Amish water bath canning method is more than just a food preservation technique. It's a living testament to the power of tradition, passed down through generations to ensure that food stays fresh and safe, without relying on modern-day preservatives or refrigeration. The beauty of this method lies in its simplicity, making it a popular choice for those who want to preserve food in a natural, cost-effective way. But what sets it apart is the care and attention to detail that the Amish bring to this age-old process. So, how exactly does this method work? First, you'll need to gather your tools. Select clean, high-quality canning jars. Glass ones are ideal as they're designed to withstand the heat. Before anything else, make sure the jars are free of cracks or chips, as these imperfections could ruin your seal and spoil your food. Once your jars are selected, it's time to wash them thoroughly with hot, soapy water to eliminate any dirt or residue. The next step is crucial: sterilization. The Amish understand that this is key to successful preservation. By boiling the jars in hot water for about 10 minutes, you'll kill off any potential bacteria or contaminants that could compromise your food. With your jars ready to go, the next step is to prepare your food. Depending on the recipe you're following, this could involve chopping, peeling, or even cooking the food first. The Amish method requires precision, so you want to make sure everything is ready before you begin filling your jars. When it's time to fill the jars, be careful not to overstuff them. Leave the recommended headspace, or gap, between the top of the food and the rim of the jar. This small amount of space allows the food to expand as it heats and ensures the formation of a proper vacuum seal. Once your jars are filled, it's time to start the water bath canning process. You'll need a large canner or pot filled with water, and the goal is to bring that water to a rolling boil. The Amish method requires a careful balance. Too little water, and the jars won't be fully submerged. Too much, and you risk overcrowding. The water should cover the jars by at least 1 inch. When placing the jars in the pot, use a jar lifter to avoid burns and breakage. The boiling water will heat the food, killing off bacteria, yeasts, and molds, while the heat forces the air out of the jars and forms a vacuum seal as they cool. The time required to process the jars will vary depending on the type of food you're preserving. For most high-acid foods, think fruits, tomatoes, or pickles, the canning time usually ranges from 5 to 30 minutes. Stick to the recipe's guidelines here. It's crucial for ensuring the food is properly preserved. During the entire process, maintaining a steady boil is key to success. This is where the Amish method shines, as it focuses on consistent heat and careful management of the jars. Unlike modern electric canners or pressure cookers, the Amish approach is manual, relying on natural heat and patient, deliberate care to achieve the perfect seal. One key detail the Amish emphasize is the importance of not overcrowding the jars. When the jars are packed too closely together, it can affect the vacuum seal and prevent them from properly sealing. Ensuring enough space between the jars allows for even heat distribution and more consistent results. The benefits of this traditional method are numerous. For one, it allows for long-term food storage without refrigeration, making it ideal for preserving seasonal harvests. Moreover, this approach helps retain the taste and texture of the food, often producing results that taste as fresh as when they were first harvested. Not only is the food free of preservatives, but it's also free of harmful chemicals that can be found in many modern preservation methods. When you choose the Amish water bath canning method, you're choosing a healthier, more natural way to preserve food. This method isn't just about food. It's about tradition, sustainability, and a connection to the past. The Amish approach offers a timeless way to ensure your food lasts without relying on artificial processes or costly modern appliances. By incorporating these principles into your canning practices, you can preserve the fruits of your labor for months or even years, all while keeping the food as natural and flavorful as the day it was harvested. The Amish water bath canning method is a true game changer when it comes to preserving food. What makes this method so powerful and reliable lies in the science behind it. At its heart, it works by harnessing the forces of heat and pressure to create an environment that is completely inhospitable to the microbes that cause spoilage. When you submerge jars of food into boiling water, the intense heat destroys harmful bacteria, yeasts, and molds, which would otherwise wreak havoc on your stored food. But that's just the beginning. This heat also deactivates enzymes that could break down your food over time, ensuring that what you preserve remains fresh for as long as possible. As the jars heat up, the air inside them expands and escapes. When you remove the jars from the boiling water and allow them to cool, a vacuum seal forms as the air contracts. This sealed environment is key to stopping any contaminants from entering the jar, as it blocks new air from getting inside. With no oxygen available, the microorganisms are kept at bay, and your food is safely preserved. What's remarkable about this method is its long-term effectiveness. The combination of high heat and the vacuum seal creates an airtight environment that effectively prevents spoilage and extends the shelf life of your food. Many people have used the water bath canning method to preserve fruits, vegetables, and other high-acid foods for decades, and they've seen incredible results. For example, jars of homemade canned tomatoes or peaches have been known to last for 20 years or more, remaining safe and flavorful when stored in the right conditions, such as a cool, dark pantry. There's even a touching story about a family that unearthed a jar of homemade strawberry jam from the 1980s, hidden in their pantry. To their amazement, the jam was still perfectly safe to eat and had retained its delicious flavor, proof that when done right, water bath canning can preserve food in a way that stands the test of time. Another inspiring example involves jars of pickles, which after 15 years were just as tasty as the day they were sealed. These real-life success stories reinforce the idea that this method is a reliable and long-lasting way to keep your food safe and delicious. The Amish water bath canning method is more than just an old-fashioned technique. It's a time-tested method that proves traditional ways can hold their ground even in the face of modern technology. If you're thinking of adding this tried-and-true technique to your food storage routine, the first step is to gather the necessary tools. You'll need canning jars with lids, a large pot or canner, a jar lifter, a funnel, and a bubble remover or spatula. By following the detailed steps and staying true to the principles that have been passed down through generations, you'll soon be able to preserve your food and enjoy it for months or even years to come. The final part of the Amish water bath canning method highlights the importance of careful preparation and attention to detail. First, ensure all your equipment is clean and in good condition. Begin by thoroughly washing and sterilizing your jars and lids in hot, soapy water followed by boiling for 10 minutes. This step is crucial for preventing contamination. Once prepared, fill your jars with food, leaving the necessary headspace, and use a bubble remover to eliminate air pockets. After sealing the jars with lids and metal bands, process them in boiling water, making sure the jars are fully submerged and that water covers them by at least an inch. Maintaining a rolling boil throughout the processing time is key, and once completed, allow the jars to cool and check for a proper seal. Avoid common mistakes like overcrowding the jars, which can prevent proper sealing and heating. After canning, store your jars in a cool, dry, and dark place, checking them regularly for wear or damage to equipment. By using this method, you can enjoy significant benefits, such as reducing grocery bills by preserving seasonal or bulk items and cutting down on food waste. It also provides a sense of food security, especially during uncertain times. For those interested in learning more about ancient preservation techniques, exploring resources like lost superfoods can further deepen your knowledge. Finally, for those intrigued by frugal living tips, subscribing to the channel provides access to upcoming videos with new insights on cost-saving strategies.